The new Lloydminster Nissan has moved into the Big Blue Building on Highway 16 West, formerly known as Border City RV. Shop in comfort with over 100 new and pre-owned vehicles all inside our giant showroom. This is the largest and the longest indoor sale in the history of the Border City. Sales and service all under one big roof. Come check out the massive savings in this massive building. The new Lloydminster Nissan, now in the Big Blue Building on Highway 16 West. The new Lloydminster Nissan. We won't sell you a car, we'll help you buy one.
Local people. Local news and events. Local sports. Local matters. For all things Lloydminster area, this is Live with Kurt Price.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We're at the Astec Safety Challenge presented by Wild Rose Pump and Compression. I'm Kurt Price. Of course, we have Team Armstrong here, and we're going to be talking to a few of the teams that are taking the ice this week in the Astec Safety Challenge. I do want to remind you about the new Lloydminster Nissan. We have moved. We are now on Highway 16 West, and I'll tell you, with this cold weather, we're in a temporary location that looks pretty darn good right now, because over 100 new and pre-owned vehicles are under the roof on Highway 16 West. You'll also find parts and service and sales all under that roof on Highway 16 West. Just follow the signs to the new Lloydminster Nissan. And right now at the new Lloydminster Nissan, with your purchase, new or pre-owned, you get free tires for life. So come see us before the end of January. And it's feeling like January. It is so cold, but that means it is curling season, and curling season is here. So the Tyson Armstrong rink joins us, and Tyson, maybe what I'll get you to do, not that I don't recognize these guys, but I'll get you to officially introduce us to your team.
Right on. Well, first of all, I've got my lead here, Al Demetrician. We've been curling together for about 8 or 9 years. And on the far right, we've got Monty Armstrong. He's our second, and he's going to be calling the game as skip. Next to him is Ryan Armstrong. He's our third. And of course, my name, Tyson Armstrong, and I'll be throwing the 4 stones and sweeping my heart out throughout the week.
How excited are you guys to be here at the Astec Safety Challenge? So we got the best curlers in the world are here in Lloydminster. You guys are on the ice. How excited are you?
We're very excited. We've got Bruce Mowat for our first game at 12:30 on Thursday. That's tomorrow. And yeah, we're looking forward to the competition. All the teams that are out here, we're looking forward to mingling with them and playing on the same ice surface with them.
What's the first thing you thought of when you heard that this could be coming? This could be a possibility. What's the first thing you guys thought of?
Well, I thought it was a bit of a dream to be able to curl in this. So when we were asked to curl, we are very thankful, the organizing committee that they asked us to join them out here, and all the hard work that they've put in to this event. You know, Jeff and Caitlin and the overall organizing committee have put in lots of hours in order scouting other events, seeing everything that works, what doesn't work, and when they started announcing the teams, we really started getting excited for it. And yeah, it's amazing to see the 21 teams that they've put together for this event.
Hometown team. So did you guys? It's a sold-out event. You guys' family buy all the tickets?
No, not quite, but they went quick. I was really impressed. The Lloydminster came together. It's the first time we've had competitive men's curling in well over a decade since the Wayside. I think it ended up the Days Inn ended it back in the late 2000s. But it's great to have this event back in place, showcasing Lloyd. It has great curling following and certainly great community support for big events like this.
They want to make this an annual thing. What does that mean for curling in Lloydminster?
It's pretty big because right now you don't have much between Edmonton and the Alberta events, and then you get into the events. It's one in Saskatoon, I think that's about it, and then you get into Manitoba. So there's a big gap in the landscape, and Lloydminster used to always fill that as one of the really initial WCT events, and so it's great that we can bring that back again.
You guys were on the ice this morning, still a little bit sweaty, at least some of you are. Some of you not so much, but you guys were on the ice this morning. Renowned world ice expert John Wall is here helping to make the ice with Brian. What have you noticed? Is there more curl? What's the ice like?
Yeah, I mean, it was night and day different. I think throwing last night, we were out here, and it feels different just stepping on it, and then those first few stones just felt great in terms of the amount that they curl, but also the amount that the sweepers can handle the rocks in terms of dragging them and keeping them straight. So Brian does an amazing job with our ice, and John's taking it to a next level. And I think it's going to really showcase the really great athletes that are out here, besides ourselves. But the top teams in the world have some phenomenal sweepers, and the fans are going to be in for a treat because those guys can really drag some rocks.
And Tyson, you notice a big difference too?
Oh yeah, it's curling quite a bit, and like Ryan mentioned, it is a sweeper's ice, so you can really control the stones out there, know when you need to hit it to keep it straight, and know when you need to get it that extra curl at the end, and of course, Al, we rely on him for that, and he's our muscle and our brains behind that. So between him and Ryan, they'll be working those stones out there.
Well, is this more like the ice you're used to curling on, Al?
Yes. Well, for the most part, yes. It's sweeper dependent on a lot of their shots, so look forward to showcasing some of that.
Tell us about this team. How did you guys meet? I mean, I know how you met these guys, obviously, but how did you meet Al?
Just in Super League, we weren't on the same team the first year I moved to Lloydminster, and we started playing on the SAS curling tour for a bit, and they were looking for a guy, and so I jumped ship from another Super League team and joined these guys, and we hit the roads of Saskatchewan for a couple of years. So had lots of fun there, and we just kept rolling with it in Super League. We've had some pretty good success, so kept it rolling.
How is the season going for you guys?
It's going all right. I think we're tied at the top of the standings in our Super League, and we've had a lot of really tight games. We've got 5 teams in that league, and they're all pretty tight knit. So we really enjoy the competition back and forth over the years. Those squads, but those teams, we all really enjoy their company as well. So after a game, we get together and enjoy some wings and beer and really get to know each other on a different level. So yeah, we've competed against each other over how many years, and there's a lot of mutual respect out on the ice between those teams.
What's the rest of your season like?
Super League mostly. Life gets in the way a little bit of the competitive events and those types of things. I think the last time we played really was in Northerns with the same squad in January of 2020, right before in North Battleford, right before the world sort of shut down there due to the pandemic. But it's good to get into some of these tight events. It really focuses like coming out, and it's not just the Tuesday at 6:30 after work. You're showing up early. You're getting a good stretch in. You're getting your focus on, and it brings back some good memories of playing those tour events. That's for sure.
Monty, you curl here all the time. What do you think of what they've done with the ice and and it looks a lot brighter out there to me.
Yeah, it's they've really spruced things up, and the ice is great condition. I think if there's rocks missed, might have something to do with the person that's throwing it. But no, it's been a lot of fun just practicing on it. I was really excited when the guys asked me to play in this because I don't curl with them all the time. And when you're away from it for a little bit, you think it's like a bicycle. You jump back on and you're going. But for me, as I get a little older, it's more like a unicycle. I think but it's coming. So.
Well, you said it'll be blamed on the thrower. Does that mean usually it's not?
Most of the time it is, but there's 4 people make a rock in the right place. So.
Tell me about these two. What do you think of them and what they're doing on the ice?
They're
give an invitation here.
All 3 of them are excellent throwers, and it's just been fun to get out and play with them a bit, and play with them in some competitive curling like we're going to have this weekend, and hopefully we can get a few good games in.
And Tyson, I want to give you a chance to tell us about your sponsors as well, because you know how important that is.
You bet. Yeah, we've got our 2 main sponsors are Armstrong, Hindinger, Moskal, and a law firm.
What do they do?
Town. They're a law firm here
okay.
in town. Ryan's a partner with that firm, and then MNP LLP here in Lloydminster. So I currently work as a senior manager in our Lloydminster office here.
Oh, awesome. This event is going to be so much fun. I don't want to make it sound like you haven't. You mentioned you curled against these guys before, but is there a little bit of intimidation knowing you've got Olympic champions in the house?
There's got to be a little bit. But we're taking a different approach at it. We're going to have a fun weekend, going to have an exciting weekend. We're going to make some shots. We're going to miss some shots, but I think we're going to have some tight games, and that's what we're looking for.
You guys going to be aggressive?
I can't give everything away.
I guess it depends on the opponent sometimes too.
Absolutely, aggressive when you need to, and playing it a little bit safer when it's the right move as well. But yeah, no, we want to be able to try and maybe catch them out the gate and see if we can get ahead early in a game.
Anything I'm forgetting to ask that you guys want to make sure everybody knows about this event or your team?
Nope, just thanks to Astec again for sponsoring this. I really can't say that enough. When they announced this a year ago, that they were a sponsor of Team Bottcher, which in and of itself must be a pretty good financial commitment, but them to step up and bring this event, and it's not just a one-off, it's going to be multiple years. That's certainly a big financial commitment. But it's not just that. Like they brought Bottcher's team in last year to do a junior clinic here, and I don't think that's the only one they do. So they spend a lot of time off the ice growing the game, these teams that the fans in the stands don't always see unless they're in those clubs. So certainly a big thanks to the Astec Safety team for bringing this in, and for Team Bottcher for stepping up. And there's a junior clinic that will have happened earlier today.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when we lost the Wayside, we lost a lot in Lloydminster. When you're growing up, who are your influences? I know Monty for sure, but who are you guys watching when you're growing up, and how are you able to learn to curl to be at this level?
Yeah, you know what? I was growing up watching Furby and Martin, but a couple of the teams
Guys
that
were here.
Yep, the ones that are here. The ones that I really watched closely were, that Mark Kennedy, Ben Ebert, and John Morris. So, I had the pleasure of meeting them at Leduc Curling Camp back in the day when I was much younger, learning a few things from them, and really seeing how they carry themselves out on the ice face to face was kind of a neat experience. So it's pretty cool to see it come full circle and be able to compete against them out here, and hopefully we get to play a few more of those teams.
Did you want to expand on that, Ryan? Or?
No, same thing. When we first started playing the SAS Tour, actually even before that, I did a year at the U of A. Mark Kennedy played in the competitive school league, university league if it was, and he had a team then, and certainly great curler. That was well before he played with Martin. And then even on the SAS Tour, before Benny jumped to Alberta, he played with Laycock, and he was out there, and we managed to match up against them a couple times, and just great seeing how good those guys are, and certainly the commitment they've taken. To be a front end sweeper at that level with that type of emphasis for 20 plus years, you got to keep your body in pretty good shape. So it's a lot of off-ice training that, again, the fans in the stands don't see, but these guys are real athletes that we're playing against this weekend.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you for your time. It's really appreciated, and best of luck this week.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thanks, Kurt. Appreciate it.
At Lloydminster and District Co-op, membership matters more. Because being part of a co-op means you're connected to something bigger than yourself. From long-held legacy by those who built our communities, to people you call family, friends, and neighbors. When you're a Lloyd Co-op member, you're an owner in a local business that prides itself on purpose alongside profit. You earn cash back, you help support causes that matter most, and you're building a better way of life for the next generation. Membership matters more.
I'm Brian Zinchuk of PipelineOnline.ca. I used to be a pipeliner, and I've spent the last 15 years reporting on energy in Saskatchewan. PipelineOnline.ca provides comprehensive coverage of light oil, heavy oil, lithium, helium, power production including coal, wind, solar, geothermal, natural gas, and nuclear. There's a lot happening in Saskatchewan's energy sector, and Pipeline Online is there for all of it. No one else comes even close.
Welcome back. We're at the Astec Safety Challenge presented by Wild Rose Pump and Compression, and we want to thank BioClean Disaster Services. BioClean Disaster Services for fire, flood, asbestos, wind damage. They're going to help you and your family. Yes, they're going to take care of your possessions and your property, but their focus is on getting you and your family back to you where you were before the incident. Whether it's fire or flood, call BioClean Disaster Services. They're local. You see them all around Lloydminster. And call them anytime, a day or night, 24-hour service, and their commitment is to you and your family. We have Brendan Bottcher's team here. Brendan joins us. Mark Kennedy, who we have had on the program before, so thank you, Mark. And Brett Gallant joins us as well. And we have two local teams that are playing, but when you speak to people in the community, they'll tell you it's almost like there's three local teams playing this year, because Brendan Bottcher and his team have had so much to do with bringing the Astec Safety Challenge to Lloydminster. Was this one of the contingencies did you put on Jeff and Caitlin that if you're going to sponsor us, you're going to have to do something in Lloydminster?
No, definitely not. It just came up in conversation about how we used to have such a great event here in Lloydminster, and it would be great if we could bring some world-class curling back here. And I think it kind of got them thinking that maybe they could be the ones to do that. And, the discussions just grew from there, and now it's kind of become their baby, and they've put a ton of time and effort and energy into making this happen. So, kudos to them for what they've done with this event. And we're just excited and happy to be here and to be back in Lloydminster with some top quality curling.
Jeff talks about how this started on a napkin. He was like, I'm just taking notes. When did you guys know he was serious about this?
Well, I think kind of midway through last year, the talks got a little bit more serious, and Jeff's definitely a planner. So I think once he set his mind to it, between him and Caitlin, they sunk enough resources into it, and they dedicated a whole bunch of energy to make this a success. And I really think they rallied the community here, which is just awesome. It's such a good curling community, as Mark mentioned. They've had a good event here in the past, and it's just awesome that we're able to come back.
They mentioned that you guys have been. You guys have controlled this. You've said this is what you need to do to bring the best curlers in the world. Can you tell us what some of those stipulations were? What was it that you said this is what needs to happen if you want to bring the best curlers in the world to Lloydminster?
I think a couple of the main things are have an excellent facility, have great ice conditions, and they brought in John Wall. I know the ice to work with the crew here, and I know the ice conditions are going to be phenomenal. They have the resources. They made a great purse, one of the biggest purses we'll play for all season long. So that's a big component, and you can just tell, we've just stepped into this building and to have a look around, and they've thought of everything to make it a great event for the players, and it's going to be a great event for the community, for the fans to come in and watch. So they haven't overlooked any detail, in my opinion, and I think it's just going to be a fantastic event to play in.
They want to make this a regular event. Was that part of the plan originally too? Something that we can, not just a one-off, but something we can keep coming back to and bring in the best curlers here?
I think that's ideally the plan. I think, one of the other things we recommended was finding the right weekend, because a lot of your top teams in the world these days are international teams. So they're coming to Canada at specific times to play in certain events. So, having this event right before a Grand Slam in Red Deer is big. So, hopefully this is something, I think with how great this week is going to go, teams are going to want this to be a yearly thing, but some of that's going to depend on Jeff and Caitlin and whether they're willing to put in this amount of time and effort to make it happen. So hopefully it's a yearly thing, but we'll definitely enjoy it this week, whether it is or not.
Do you guys feel like the host team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we literally just walked in the door 10 minutes ago, but I think once we get out on the ice tomorrow, and I know they sold the place out, so once there's a lot of fans in here, I think we're going to feel like a little bit of the local team, the Alberta favorites, I guess you could say. So yeah, it feels like we're home.
Did you guys have any contact with other teams, like telling them this is going to be great, or anything like that, or is it just, hey, we'll put it out there and you guys decide, but this purse is should be worth it?
I think part of when you stand up a new event, a lot of teams see it on the calendar, but they're not 100% sure what to expect. So even to Brett's point, I think we can vouch for the event in terms of we know it's going to be a success. We know the ice is going to be good. We know the host committee is putting in all the work. And that helps bring some of those top teams out, whereas sometimes events will pop up in the calendar and it takes a year or two kind of for the momentum to get going, whereas if you have a few teams vouch for it, and I think we did a good job doing that to help pull all the international teams here this week.
Has everybody played in Lloydminster before?
I think I've only played here once before. I think we had a Grand Slam here a number of years ago in the arena. This will be my first time playing in the curling club, so I'm excited. I've heard nothing but good things about the event that was here in the past, and I think they brought it back better than ever, so it'll be exciting to play here.
So being that home team, you guys feel a little extra pressure?
You just skip. You tell us, Botch.
You're having a great year.
I mean, we're having a good year, but I just want to go out this week and play well, in all honesty. I think that's been our success so far this year, is we've been focusing on all the little things. I think we've come together as a real solid group here. We're having a lot of fun along the way, which helps. And if we keep throwing the rock well, there's no reason why this week shouldn't be a success.
I know you guys take a little bit of heat for blank ends. That social media lights up sometimes with the blank ends. Does an event like this that's not on the tour, does it let you be a little more aggressive?
I don't know why we take grief for that. I can't remember the last end that we actually blanked. We played the whole Grand Slam, and I don't think we blanked one end.
Yeah,
it's a silly thing.
I know you've taken this question.
Yeah, but we've always said the same thing, though. It takes two teams to tango, right? If we have last rock and another team isn't willing to get aggressive, then why wouldn't we take the blank? But, it doesn't, it's not something we think about very often, and it just, if the opportunity arises, we take it. But, I think it's kind of a dying thing. I don't really think it's something we think about too often. No.
Fantastic. The other thing that this event does is it brings curling back to Lloydminster, and you guys have spent some time with the youth in this community as well. How important is that to reach out not only to the youth, but to youth in this area that might not have that chance otherwise?
Oh, well, I think it's hugely important. So we did a similar junior clinic last year as to what we're going to do here later today, and I think that's important. It helps rally the community. It helps kind of put a lot of energy, reinvigorate the youth in the community. And because this has kind of been a hub of curling in the past, I think there's maybe been a little bit of a glut here in the last couple of years where there have been some kids that haven't seen a lot of the top curlers, and you get fewer enrollment in some of the junior programming. So it's just awesome. There was a lot of energy last year. I think we had a lot of fun. The kids had a lot of fun, and excited to get back out there today and do it again.
And Mark, I know that's really important to you. It's something you strive by. When you guys were younger, who was the influence for you guys?
We probably all have different influences, but growing up in Edmonton, the cool thing for us is you turn on the TV and watch Kevin Martin. And then you could go to the Otwell Curling Club, and there was Kevin working in his curling store. And if you just wanted to have a curling conversation with him, you could. So the accessibility to the top players was always there in our sport, which is unbelievable. You don't see that in a lot of other sports. So for us to have that same accessibility to the youngsters, you mentioned like my junior spiel. I think we have 65 teams signed up this year. And that's one of the things they love the most is they come to the curling club and they can see myself or Brett Gallant or Ben Hebert or Brendan Bottcher and just have a chat and a conversation. That's a big part of getting them to love the sport. So for us to be able to do that today, and they're going to look around and see Nick Adine and Bruce Mowat and Joel Retornaz, and it's going to be an eye-opener for them, and it's going to be a reason they fall in love with the game. So it's a huge part of what we do.
For you, Brendan, was there somebody that heavily influenced on you?
Oh, I grew up in Edmonton as well, so I was probably watching Mark.
That's the second time that's been mentioned. I've interviewed two teams. It's the second time Mark has been mentioned.
I'm old. But just in general, I was pretty fortunate. The Edmonton community has produced a lot of top curlers, but I would echo Mark's comment. Being able to watch kind of your idols on TV and then see them out in the club and see what they're working on and just feel like you're a part of being around them. I really think that helps create that kind of link as a junior curler coming up that, I could do this and I could make that step, and that's quite important.
And for you, Brett?
Yeah, just to touch on what Brendan said, I think when you're younger and you're the junior at some of these camps, you think, oh, I'm quite a ways away from where these guys are at. But Brendan and I can attest to, a few years down the road, you might end up playing with some of these guys you looked up to and you kind of idolized as a junior. So. For me, from the East Coast, I kind of grew up watching Brad Gushu, Mark Nichols, and that team, and ended up playing with them for about 10 years. And now you come out here and you play with guys like Mark and Ben, who you kind of idolized, not that long ago, but maybe not thinking you're going to play with them someday. So as a junior, it might seem like you're ways off. When you have the opportunities to kind of brush shoulders and maybe take some advice from some of those guys you look up to, it's a great opportunity. And if you put the work in, you might end up being on the same sheet as them someday too. So, it's just really cool to be able to do it, be on the other side of it now than we were when we were juniors, and give back a little bit to all the junior curlers kind of around this area now.
We really appreciate you guys giving us some time. We know you're getting out on the ice here, but it is really appreciated that you would take some time to talk to us. And we wish you the best of luck this week, and hope you get a nice round of applause when you come on the ice. And I can tell you from being on the community, we'll be hoping for you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
It's more than just taxes at LNA CPA. Assurance, accounting, retirement planning, estate planning, business consulting, financial consulting, farm program support, and bookkeeping. But yes, there is always taxes. The team at LNA CPA is committed to helping you achieve your best results and will be there to assist you every step of the way. LNA CPA, with offices in Provost, Vermilion, and Lloydminster.
At Jason Arden Associates Cooperators, we're proud to be a top-rated local insurance company that offers flexible solutions and expert advice for all your insurance and investment needs. We'll work with you to tailor your insurance specific to your needs, and we offer investment advice that always puts you first. At Cooperators, one of our core values is to support the communities we live in. When you support Jason Arden Associates Cooperators, you are supporting local nonprofits and initiatives. Since 2020, we have donated $60,000 to local nonprofits, youth sponsorships, and various special projects. When was the last time your insurance company did that?
We're back at the Astec Safety Challenge presented by Wild Rose Pump and Compression. We want to thank Superior Water for being one of our supporters. Superior Water in Lloydminster. I drink Superior Water because I believe it is superior, and I believe it's the best tasting water in Lloydminster. Just $3 a jug, you get a nice, consistent taste. And don't forget, ice for that Crown Royal at Superior Water is just $2 a bag. You'll find 2 locations in Lloydminster, open beside Sheepskin Loft on 57th Avenue, and they are open Saturdays and Sundays. And of course, their coin-operated location just off Highway 17 South by 7-Eleven. At Superior Water, water is what they do, and they do it well. We are joined by the DeConnick Smith team here. It is another local team here in Lloydminster, and certainly some people that are familiar with this ice. And they haven't been on it yet here, but we have Carl DeConnick Smith. We have Mr. Ryan Dice, and I should mention Alan A. is another one of our big supporters, so absolutely, we appreciate that as well. And Kaylin Dice, and I haven't seen Kaylin in...
It's been 5 years at least.
How long have you been married?
6.
6. It's been 6. Yeah. So right around
five,
there.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
Right off.
Yeah. But it is how special is this to have an event like this in Lloydminster?
Oh, this is huge. Like, we haven't had a big event in Lloydminster since 2008. Like, for men's anyways, we haven't had a big event since 2008. I guess we did have a Grand Slam in 2017 there, but that's a little different. It was more of an invitational only type event, whereas this one's not so there was a quasi-invitational, but it was also open to others, so teams like us can enter an event like this. So we're really glad to have an event come back to Lloydminster here.
I mentioned to the Armstrong team, I said, is there some intimidation? I mean, these are the best curlers in the world. They're all here, and you're on the same ice. Is there a little bit of an intimidation factor?
I don't know so much about that. Like, I think what we just need to worry about is just our own game. You know, whether if we play, our 85-90% game, if that's good enough to win us a few games. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But that's I think ultimately that's our goal, is to just to go out and play really well. And I think if we do that, I think we'll see some success this week. So,
you got a world renowned ice maker in the house, in John Wall. We're going to talk to him in just a bit here. But what's it like? You were on the ice last night, Ryan. What's the difference in the ice here from what you're used to?
The surface itself has totally changed. Like, there's it's just more crisper. It has some qualities to arena ice type feel, that's for sure. And then they sand the rocks, which is not new. Like Lloydminster's had sanded rocks before, which that means usually you get an extra curl. That has happened for us before in the past, but it's mainly the surface it's definitely more crisp than what usually is. So that will be new to especially myself in this club, where I normally curl every week, but I'll have zero home ice advantage going into this week. So,
is it brighter? It seems a little brighter out there.
Maybe a little bit. I'd say maybe slightly, but I wouldn't say anything major. I think it's just maybe it just appears so just because there's other things around
a little more light reflection of something else or whatnot. But yeah, no.
What's this mean for the city of Lloydminster and the legacy that it leaves behind? We know that the Lloydminster Curling Club is going to benefit from having this here. How important is the legacy that it leaves behind as well?
Well, I think this might lead to as long as everything goes really smooth, like this could be maybe an annual event or a semi-annual event or something along those lines, and then that could be further benefits for the curling club and for the city itself. Because all these teams, they're staying at hotels or Airbnbs and stuff like that, so there's revenue generated from that, and then restaurants, they benefit from that too, and then even hosting future events, like maybe some Curl Canada events down the road, like once we have that new arena up, if they, they know that if they are aware that Lloydminster is good at hosting curling events, that would certainly help. That's for sure. Or even another Grand Slam down the road too, right?
What was your reaction when you heard this was coming?
Well,
did you immediately think, I want in that?
Yeah, I did for sure. I just didn't know at the time as to who we were going to all attract for sure. Like there was some there was a lot of optimism off the start, and but it really comes down to the local area in Lloydminster, where we've got a lot of big support from sponsors to make this happen, and because we could only get that. Like the prize purse needs to be very large to attract all these teams, and guaranteed good ice for it to happen. So
you start against a Dean. That's a tough draw right away, isn't it? It's not an easy draw, that's for sure.
Tigger?
Yeah, no, it'll be my first time playing against something like that. It's the best team I ever played in my life was against Cooey back 2 years ago in Banff. That's other than that. Well, you see these guys here and there, but way it's ranked, sometimes you don't get to play them off the start unless you end up doing well enough and get up against them in the A event or something like that. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this week. It should be fun. But.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the year gone for you guys?
Well, we've only played 2 events this year. Like we're just mainly playing a couple bonspiels, and that's it. We're not doing the men's playdowns or anything like that. So this is kind of our provincial. This is our provincial event. So this concludes our season. This event, so we want to finish with a strong result here.
And this is your home rink, Ryan. And what's it going to be like to see it full? It's sold out. What's it going to be like to see this curling center full? And it hasn't been full in a long time.
No, it hasn't been full in a long time. And even with the wave side, like all 8 sheets were used at that time, so it's going to be different where you got sheets 1 and 8 being occupied with more people, so it's going to be even more unique than the past. But yeah, no, it's I'm excited for that, and and I think every member in our curling club is also going to be excited about this because we haven't had an event quite like this in a long time, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Did you guys? This is, like you're saying, this is our provincials. This is our big thing this year. Do you have a goal in mind? Like I know, Ryan, I talked to you off camera, and you'd said, "Hey, I'm scheduled to commentate in the championship game. I'm going to be, and I said to you, well, you can't commentate. Like you should. Like your goal is to be in that.
Well, that's not my goal, is to commentate at all. But
no, but to be in that final.
Well, yeah, like to be in the final would be just
Like Kalen, do you find that like?
Well, my goal here is just to try and knock some guys off somehow, some way. Just try and play the best we can, and maybe pull a miracle off here and there.
For you, Carl?
Yeah, well, it's just the best showing that we can, and I mean the chips are going to fall how they may out there, but if we do our best, we'll have some fun games and make some great shots and I add too, it's great for the club. You get some young curlers in here that get to see the world's best, and it gives them. It always sparks that one young curler to, think, I might do this that they didn't get a chance before to see that kind of caliber curling.
Yeah,
so it's great for the community.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's like there's not many curling clubs that have had a sold out facility in a very long time. Like even you look at the Briar, even some of the slams, they're not sold out. You look in the stands, sometimes there's only a handful of people out there. The fact that this is sold out is absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, and like our junior program, like the numbers have dwindled over the last number of years, but that's like nothing new compared to like other curling clubs either. That's just a trend that's going on, not just for curling but other sports too. So hopefully this revitalizes some of that too, and I think that's one of the goals of this event too, is to revitalize, the junior curling program and curling in general, just around Lloydminster as well.
Well, who did you guys look up to when you were learning to curl?
Our parents were a big contributor to us. Like they pushed us to we started off playing hockey, and then they figured it was too much for them, so we
Too much for them, or you weren't good enough, Caleb?
No.
This ain't going anywhere.
No.
So we got to switch sports.
No, and
try golf. That ain't working.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll get you back on the ice.
Well, our dad was a caretaker of the curling club still is. I've taken over that position myself. He still helps me quite a bit.
Fox Valley?
In Fox Valley, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was we both of us grew up in the curling club, so it was bred into us basically, and it was they didn't hesitate to take us all over the place, and Truro Junior, wherever. They're coming this weekend too to come watch us, of course, and they would miss this for the world. So
yeah,
it's no for sure. So.
And for you, Carl, who did you idolize when you were, and who helped you along the way?
Oh, parents too. I mean, curling's always been a family sport. Yeah. If your parents are at the rink, you're going to be at the rink, and that trend has hardly ever wavered. We almost need to get out of that trend just because there is less parents curling. We need to kind of break that cycle a little bit, but that always has been important. And I mean, just watching the best for myself personally was always what made me want to be better.
You guys like the format of this? Good format?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think with this many teams, it like you could do like the pool system, but you need to extend the event a little bit longer. So this is the right approach with the 24-team triple knockout format. Even though we had a couple dropouts late, that went down to 21.
We were looking toward the pool system because you get to play some more of the better teams. Try and give
there is that, yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's that.
Give him a knock on the door or something like that here and there.
But yeah. There's something to be said. Yeah, with the pool system, like every game's known. You know, it's good for television production and stuff like that. We don't have TV, but we do have some live stream going on this week. So, but
and you're gonna, like you say, gonna be doing some of the conversation.
Yeah.
You staying at his house, or did he make you get a hotel?
We're getting a hotel.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to stay with my parents.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe one last question is, who fills in for Ryan if you guys make the final? 'Cause he's got a commentator.
Oh, jeez.
You do. Yeah, it'll be me.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you guys. Unless there's anything else you want to say about the event or your team and let people know about.
Oh well, Jeff and Caitlin, like they were the masterminds behind all this, and like and same with the Bottcher team too. It was a group effort there, and we're just really lucky to have an event like this, and we're just really thrilled to be a part of it. So
a little nervous being so many people be watching, and this is kind of your thing, Ryan. Everybody knows Ryan Dice.
I suppose, but I don't know. I'm not.
Little humble.
Yeah.
No, like I would be a little nervous. I'm going to be honest. I'd be a little nervous.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really too concerned. Like usually, like once you get out there, a lot of times I don't really worry about the crowd too much.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I might like being in our first game. We're going to be right beside the M&P Lounge.
We've been in a few of these events too where there's been crowds.
I'll maybe ask for them to if I could borrow a drink or something like that, right?
That'd be kind of nice at the bar right beside. Might have to run a table there, put a drink on a table or something there while we play.
Never seen you do that.
No, not at all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks.
We'll be right back, and we're going to talk to John Wall about the ice.
How can you help support the oil and gas industry and jobs in Western Canada? The answer is closer than you think. Sell your scrap metals to PWM Steel. PWM sells scrap iron to Evraz, located in Regina. Evraz's #1 customer is the energy sector, building pipes and plates for the oil and gas industry. PWM Steel is your locally owned metal recycler and steel service center in the area. Plus, they're a strong supporter of the community. PWM Steel, your top steel supplier for Alberta and Saskatchewan for 40 years.
At Diamond 7 Meats, we work with local farm families to provide a high-quality product and a great selection for you. Try our mouth-watering smokies, pulled pork, roast beef, and more, made pure and natural with no additives or fillers. We offer custom processing, and our experienced team works for you to provide a selection of sausage, burgers, and jerkies made to your specifications. Take your grilling to the next level with a Yoder smoker. Complete the grilling experience with Canadian-made, award-winning line of House of Q barbecue sauces. We're locally owned and operated, and we look forward to seeing you today.
Welcome back. We're at the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center for the Astec Safety Challenge, presented by Wild Rose Pump and Compression. And it's great to have world-renowned ice maker John Wall joining us. And John has come to Lloydminster specifically for this event, and he's made ice. How many different countries? How many different places?
Only been overseas to Denmark and China so far for overseas work, but I've been all over Canada, up in the Northwest Territories, Iqaluit and Nunavut, and then all over Canada, coast to coast.
You ever been to Lloydminster before?
No, I have not been to Lloydminster, so this is the first.
What did you think when you walk in here? What do you think when you take a look at this building and the way it's laid out? What's your first thoughts when you come in?
Yeah, no, it's they've done a great job, Jeff and Caitlin, with setting up this building. It's definitely a good event feel out here, and overall the building's fairly good and set up for us to try and make some good ice for the guys this week.
I know you want to leave behind a little bit of a legacy and help these guys make better ice along the way. What were you able to show them that maybe they didn't? I guess it's hard from your perspective to understand what they didn't understand, but maybe some stuff that stuck with them.
To be honest, Brian, the ice maker here, he had a good kind of base grasp on things. It's really just been fine-tuning this week in terms of pebbling and scraping, different techniques on how to build the ice after a maintenance, a flood or a controlled melt in that regard. And then getting into temperature control and building management. I have a monitoring system here this week that will we have probes across the ice that tell us ice temperatures, air temperatures, humidity, dew point, and it really helps us balance out the building and figure out where we need everything for optimal conditions. So having this here shows him where he actually needs to set points to help him with his ice as well, and then also went over rock maintenance as well and texturing the stones to get that added curl for these events, and then also correlating with club play as well and recreational part of the game. So that's the biggest thing at the end of the day, is trying to say this is where we are for events and then this is where we are for club play, because I'm fortunate enough I have a couple contracts at home in the Ottawa region that I also have curling clubs and recreational play at, so been able to kind of help differentiate what you need for each setting.
How much communication do you have with the curlers on the ice and checking with them to say?
Well, I've been fortunate. I've been with the Grand Slam since 2009 with Mark Shirk. He trained and mentored me, and so I got into this when the Kevin Martins and Glenn Howards and Jeff Stoutons were at the top of the game, and Randy Furby, obviously. So as the years progressed and all these younger teams have came in, I've been here too. So whether it's doing events across Canada, the Shorty Jenkins, for instance, in Cornwall, Ontario, which I've done for 8 years, knowing these teams and be able to communicate with them, you get a good rapport with them, and it's good. You know, they come and talk to you first before they might make any complaints to the media about the ice, right? But you got to have good communication with the players at the end of the day to be able to provide the best product for them, right? So their input is key, and sometimes you have to judge, did they come off a loss or a win at the end of the day? But at the end of the day, you can talk to them, and they're really good about it.
Did you have to strip it down, start fresh again?
No. So what we did is that we came in here, Brian did his first step in his Christmas maintenance over Christmas, a controlled melt, and then he waited for me to come here to flood and see the building and kind of get a lay of the land and see what we're looking at. And yeah, so all we did is we did a flood and then just pebbled and scraped and got the rocks ready for the event.
John, thank you very much for this. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for coming and leaving behind, better ice. Appreciate it.
No, great to be here. Thank you.